Helen, 71 years old, from Oregon, used to remember every grandchild's birthday. But last week, during a family dinner, she looked at the little one with a smile and couldn't recall their name. The family brushed it off with a laugh. "Oh, Grandma's just forgetting for a moment." But Helen didn't find it funny. She felt scared. At the doctor's, no pills were prescribed. The doctor simply asked, "Do you still drink orange juice every morning?" She nodded, and then he said something that haunted her. "Your memory might be getting stolen every day by the very things you think are perfectly healthy." In today's video, we'll explore 10 everyday foods, staples in our meals, that are quietly weakening the brain, blurring memory, and making emotions more fragile than ever. And more importantly, we'll learn how to reverse it with small changes, gentle enough to feel effortless, yet powerful enough to preserve what matters most: memories, clarity, and our truest selves. 1. White bread. Did you know just 2 slices of white bread in the morning, seemingly harmless, can, for someone over 60, spike blood sugar as if they'd eaten 6 teaspoons of white sugar? Once a day, 5 days a week, 10 years straight, the risk of dementia could rise by nearly 30%, according to a study from the New England Journal of Medicine. And the scary part? Older adults don't feel pain when their brain is damaged. They just notice they're a little more forgetful. They no longer remember their spouse's favorite dish. They can't recall if they ate breakfast today. They don't recognize the person they've lived with for 40 years. But the good news is, it's not too late. Just one small habit shift. Switch to real whole grain bread, 100% whole grain, or a bowl of soft-cooked steel-cut oats. Add a dab of natural peanut butter for slower, steadier absorption. You'll notice the difference, not just a sharper mind, but that feeling of taking back control, like when you were young, starting each morning with a good decision. 2. Tuna. Tuna is a food many older adults trust. It's easy to eat and often touted as rich in omega-3, good for the brain. But here's the thing, if eaten regularly, tuna might be quietly damaging your very nerve cells, quite literally. According to a report from the FDA and EPA, tuna, especially albacore, contains mercury levels high enough that eating it 3-4 times a week can accumulate enough in your body to impair neurological function. This is especially serious for older adults whose livers and kidneys no longer filter as efficiently as they once did. And once mercury enters the brain, no medicine can wash it away. It erodes memory bit by bit, like someone gently erasing the names of loved ones from your mind. You don't need to give up fish, just opt for smaller varieties like herrings, sardines, or halibut. They're lower in mercury but still packed with omega-3. Limit tuna to 1-2 times a week, and always choose options labeled low mercury. Also, prioritize wild-caught fish, as their environment greatly affects the quality of their flesh. 3. Fruit juice. Many older adults believe drinking juice every morning is a healthy habit. A glass of orange or apple juice, easy to sip and supposedly loaded with vitamin C to boost immunity. But the truth is, when juice is squeezed from fruit, the fiber, which slows sugar absorption, is gone. What's left in that sweet glass is a load of sugar that an aging body doesn't need. Research from Harvard shows that regularly drinking fruit juice can increase the risk of type 2 diabetes by up to 21%. And did you know, Alzheimer's is now called type 3 diabetes by scientists due to its strong link to insulin resistance in the brain. When blood sugar spikes too high, the brain can't get energy properly, leading to memory issues, poor focus, and vague fatigue. The worst part? It all happens silently, day by day. To improve, you don't need to ditch fruit. Prioritize fresh fruit, chew it well, and eat it after a main meal to slow sugar absorption. Avoid juice on an empty stomach. And for hydration, opt for cool water or unsweetened diluted lemon water, gentle on the liver and your memory. Fruit is only good when eaten right. Juiced and concentrated, it can become a dessert that fosters forgetfulness. Before we move on, I have a small question for those listening this far. Is there a food tied to a beautiful childhood memory, but now you have to limit it for your health? Try writing it in the comments. Just one line so not only you remember, but others can remember for you too. 4. Artificial sweeteners. More and more older adults turn to zero sugar products, believing that avoiding sugar is enough to rest easy. But behind the sugar-free label lies a long list of sweeteners like aspartame, sucralose, and saccharin, and they're far from harmless. According to the WHO, aspartame is now classified as possibly carcinogenic. Meanwhile, recent studies show sucralose alters the gut microbiome, a critical barrier protecting the brain from inflammation. When the microbiome is thrown off, millions of signals between gut and brain get disrupted. Memory fades not because you're aging, but because your brain loses its connection. For sweetness, choose pure stevia or monk fruit unblended, and train yourself to enjoy natural flavors again, light and gentle, not the sharp sweetness that clouds your mind. Changing your taste buds is the first step to changing your memory. Clarity doesn't come from low calories or no sugar. It comes from knowing what your body truly needs. 5. Industrial vegetable oils. There's something in almost every meal, from stir-fried veggies and fried fish to snack packs. It's refined vegetable oil, canola, soybean, sunflower. They're often seen as heart-healthy because they're cholesterol-free, but the reality is far more complex. Per the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition, vegetable oils high in omega-6 can throw inflammation out of balance, especially in older adults. When cooked at high heat, these oils produce free radicals that damage cell membranes, including those of neurons. Over time, the brain stops receiving clear signals, like a radio picking up static. Start by switching oils. Use olive oil for dressings, cold-pressed coconut oil, or clean chicken fat for frying. Never reuse frying oil. Each reuse doubles the toxins. You don't need to overhaul everything at once. Just swap the bottle in your kitchen for a kinder option. You're sending your brain a clear message: I'm starting to take care of you again. 6. Dried fruit. Some people love dried fruit for its convenience, shelf life, and the idea that it's still natural fruit. But when a fresh grape turns into a raisin, the water is gone, and the remaining sugar jumps to 70%. Fructose in dried fruit, if overeaten, can lead to fatty liver, trigger systemic inflammation, and affect the brain's memory regions. Worse, packaged dried fruit often comes with added sugar, preservatives, and sometimes artificial colors. It looks pretty and smells nice, but slowly fogs your mind. Go back to simpler things. Fresh fruit, eaten right after a main meal, in moderation, not excess. If you still want dried fruit, pick unsweetened, preservative-free options and use sparingly, as an occasional treat, not a daily habit. If something in this video resonates with you, your memory is still strong, because what the heart remembers, the brain holds on to longer. If you'd like gentle weekly reminders of health-kind choices, hit subscribe, not to make the channel famous, but so you don't miss out on goodness, just because you forgot. 7. Pesticide-laden produce. Shiny apples, plump strawberries, bright red tomatoes. The freshest-looking options can sometimes carry the most risk. According to the EWG, items on the Dirty Dozen list often have pesticide levels far above recommended limits. In older adults, the liver, kidneys, and gut no longer detox as well as they did in youth. When pesticides build up over time, they breach the brain's protective barrier and contribute to silent inflammation. There's no pain to warn you, just a daily drift into haziness, less focus, and forgetting things you once knew by heart. Start by soaking produce in salt water or baking soda for 20 to 30 minutes. Rotate the types of veggies you eat weekly. If you can, choose organic, or at least buy from growers you trust. 8. Gluten and lectin. Some people eat bread every morning, pasta at lunch, and pizza on weekends without understanding why their memory feels off lately. They're not intentionally doing anything wrong, they just haven't been warned that gluten in modern wheat and lectins in certain vegetables like tomatoes, potatoes, and bell peppers can quietly threaten older adults. These substances can disrupt the gut lining, causing leaks, triggering chronic inflammation not just in the stomach but also in the brain. When the blood-brain barrier is compromised, molecules that shouldn't enter the brain sneak in, sparking low-grade inflammation in memory regions. You don't feel it after a bowl of pasta, but after years you start forgetting your daughter's name, even though she still calls every Tuesday night. If you're not gluten sensitive, you can still eat it, but opt for naturally fermented bread, sourdough, or true whole wheat. Cook beans and tomatoes thoroughly, and don't eat them raw on an empty stomach. If you've had digestive issues, try cutting gluten for a few weeks to see if your clarity returns. You don't need extreme abstinence, just listen to what your body's saying. That's how you maintain connection, not just between neurons, but between you and your loved ones. 9. Excess coffee. A morning cup of coffee can sharpen your mind, but 3-4 cups, especially after 2 p.m., it's a double-edged sword. Caffeine doesn't just wake you up, it also spikes stress hormones, suppresses melatonin, and shortens sleep, making it restless. According to Harvard, chronic sleep deprivation can shrink brain regions tied to memory. When older adults don't sleep deeply, the brain doesn't have time to clear out neural debris, what scientists call amyloid, closely linked to Alzheimer's. So, the more coffee you need to stay alert, the more you scramble your memory. The solution isn't quitting coffee entirely, it's timing it right, before 1 p.m., limited to 1 to 2 cups daily. For an afternoon boost, try warm ginger water or mild herbal tea. It relaxes you while protecting your nighttime sleep. Memory doesn't come from forced alertness, it comes from deep sleep and calm days. Protect your sleep to protect what you hold dear in your heart. 10. Food additives. A cake that lasts a week without spoiling, a snack pack good for 6 months, a jar of jam still vibrant weeks after opening. It sounds convenient, but behind that convenience is a system of additives with dozens of hard-to-read, hard-to-understand names, and hard-to-accept effects once inside an aging body. Substances like BHA, sodium benzoate, and artificial colors used to extend shelf life and enhance appeal have been shown to impact neuron development, per Frontiers in Neuroscience. A little each day, and an older brain must process a slew of foreign chemicals, bogging down a system already slowing with age. As the brain lags, memory drifts along with it. Start reading food labels. Prioritize items with few ingredients, no artificial colors, and no strange preservatives. Best yet, return to home-cooked food. Simple, clean, and safe for your brain. If you've listened this far, I'm certain you're someone who values memory, so try this small thing. Share this video with someone you don't want to forget you. Maybe your dad, mom, partner, or an old friend. We can't hold on to each other's memories, but we can remind each other gently like this. Memory doesn't vanish overnight. It fades, bit by bit, through foods we trust as safe, through small choices we overlook, a glass of juice, a slice of white bread, a convenient snack pack. All can become memory thieves if repeated long enough. But through those same small choices, we can do the opposite. Swap 1 cooking oil, cut 1 cup of coffee, read labels more closely, and day by day, you'll feel clarity return. Not quite like before, but a steadier, sharper version that loves your body more. You might not recall all 10 foods from this video, and that's okay. What matters more is that you stayed until the end with a serious, warm spirit for your own health and memory. See you in the next videos where we don't just learn to eat healthier, but to live more deeply and never forget ourselves in every meal.